Hey everyone, so this is going to be the key for your summative review. Please make sure you don't watch this before you finish it. Finish those Google Slides and then pop back on here and listen as I go through each question. Okay, so questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 asked about mean, median, mode, and range for this data set at the top. So number of books. So for number 1, to find the mean, we need to add them all up. So 12 plus 4 plus 11 plus 12 plus 16 plus 11. And you should get 66. And then from here, we take our 66 and we divide by the amount of numbers in our data set. And in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. 66 divided by 6 should get me a mean of 11. And remember, you can use a calculator for this unit. So I used a calculator for this. Feel free to do it as well. Next is our median. So for median, the first step is to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So we have 4, 11, 11, 12, 12, 16. And then after they're in order from least to greatest, we can cross them out until we get our middle number. So cross out a small, cross out a big, small, big, and we're left with 11 and 12. So remember, when you have two numbers left, you want to add them together. So 11 plus 12 equals 23. And then divide by 2. 23 divided by 2 should be 11.5. Or you could have looked at this and say, okay, what is halfway between 11 and 12? And you should get 11.5. So median, 11.5. Next is your mode. So no work to be shown for this. You're just looking for what number happens most often. And in this case, we actually have two modes, 11 and 12, because they both happen twice. So mode 11 and 12. And then number 4 is our range. Remember, for range, you take your maximum, your biggest number, so 16, and you subtract your minimum or your smallest number, which is 4. 16 minus 4 will give me a range of 12. So for these 4 questions, make sure for number 1, 2, and 4, you insert a picture of your work. I just showed you the work, so you can rewatch this if you haven't done it already. All right, number 5 said, tell whether each question is statistical or not statistical. So remember, a statistical question is a question that results in a variety of data points. So that means there's more than one possible answer. And then a not statistical would be a question that results in one data point. So that's one answer. All right, so A says, on average, how many concert tickets were sold each day this week? So because it says each day, this is going to be statistical because you'll have 7 different answers or data points. B, how many students went to the movies on Saturday? That's only going to give you one answer, so it's going to be NS, not statistical. How many hours per week will Dennis swim this summer? So each week is going to give you an answer. So this is going to be statistical. How many hours did you spend on your math homework last night? That's only going to give you one answer. So that's going to be not statistical. And then E, how tall is each house in your neighborhood? Each house is going to be its own data point. So that's going to be a statistical question. All right, number 6 says, what is the shape of the dot plot to the right? That should say right below you. So we have bell curve, left to right skew, uniform distribution. So uniform distribution would be if I drew a line straight across, that's saying that all of these are very, very, very similar, close to exactly the same. In this case, it is not uniform distribution. A bell curve is when it goes up, and then comes down on the other side, not a bell curve. So left or right skew. Now a lot of people will say, oh, most of my data is on the right, so this must be a right skew. But remember, you label left or right based on where your small amount of data points lie. So in this case, it's going to be a left skew because you have a small amount of data on the left-hand side. All right, 7 through 10 had to deal with a dot plot again. So number 7 says, are there any gaps in the data? If so, name them. Remember, a gap is where you are literally missing data. It's a gap in your data. So looking at this, there's a gap. We're missing data at 55. So your answer should have been yes, and then put the number 55. Number 8, are there any peaks in the data? If so, name them. In this case, a peak is a mountain peak, right? It's significantly higher than the other data. Some may say 85 is a peak, but that's only one higher than 80. So we're gonna say there is no peak in this data. Number 9, are there any clusters? Remember, a cluster is separated from other points of the data by a gap. So in this case, we said our gap was at 55. So our cluster of points would be from 60 to 85. So this would be an answer of yes, and then you should put 60 to 85 is your cluster. And number 10, what is the mode of the data? So mode, most, what happens most often in a dot plot, that just means which one has the most dots. So in this case, your mode would be 85. Done. Okay, number 11 and 12 have to deal with this dot plot again. So number 11 says, what fraction of students scored 70% or less? Simplify if needed. So first thing we have to do when it asks for a fraction is to figure out how many total data points we have. So we just have to count our points. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 is our total. I'm going to put that just to remind us. So what fraction scored 70% or less? So we go to our 70. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 data points at 70% or less. So our fraction would be 6 out of 15. But both of those numbers can be divided by 3, so it can be simplified to 2/5. So 2/5 should be your final answer here. And then 12 says, what fraction of students scored exactly 85%? So we just go to 85 and count our points. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 out of our total of 15 scored exactly 85%. And that cannot be simplified. So 4/15 would be your final answer. All right, number 13, how many students spent more than 9 hours? So all we have to do is count how many dots are on the right-hand side of 9 hours. So how many are greater than 9? And since it says more than 9 hours, we're not going to include 9. So let's go through. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 students spent more than 9 hours. So 6 students should be your answer. Number 14, what is the range? Remember, range is you take your greatest data point, so 14, and you subtract your smallest data point, which is 1. So be careful, there's no data at 0. Just because it's on your number line doesn't mean that's your smallest. So 14 minus 1 would give me a range of 13. Number 15, what is the mode? Mode, most, what happens most often? And then in this case, there's 2 modes, 11 and 12. All right, number 16 through 21 all have to do with this dot plot. Number 16 says, what fraction of students spent 11 hours? So when it asks for a fraction, remember the first thing you have to do is count how many data points you have in total. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 dots total. I'm going to put that just in the corner so I don't forget. So what fractions of what fraction of students spent 11 hours? That is 2 of our total of 11. So 2/11ths should be your final answer here. Then number 17 says, what percent of students spent 10 hours or less? So first thing we have to do is find our fraction of students who spent 10 hours or less, and then we can change it into a decimal. So 10 hours or less, that does include 10 hours. So we need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of our 11 students spent 10 hours or less. Now that we have our fraction, we can use our fraction bar to represent a division sign and turn this into a percent. So 6 out of 11, or 6 divided by 11 is what we need to do. Top dog in the house, 6 goes inside my dog house, 11 on the outside. And now it's just division. So 11 can't go into 6, put a 0. Add your decimal, add a 0. 11 goes into 60 5 times. 5 times 11 is 55, and we'll subtract. Add another 0, drop it down. And then 11 goes into 50 4 times. 4 times 11 is 44. Subtract, we're left with a 6. Add a 0, drop a 0. I'm going to move it over, so we're at 60. And then 11 goes into 60 5 times again. So 5 times 11 is 55. Subtract, we're left with a 5. And notice we're going to be repeating 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. So it tells us in the question, round to the nearest percent. So right now we have the answer 0.545, and this would be repeating. So from a decimal to make it into a percent, there's 2 different ways you could do it. You could either take 0.545 and multiply by 100, or you can just move your decimal to the right 2 places, which would make this 54.5. Okay, so either 2 ways you could get this 54.5. Multiply by 100 or move your decimal to the right 2 place values. And then it says round to the nearest percent. So 54.5, that 0.5 tells us to round our 4 up. So our closest whole percent would be 55%. So our final answer for number 17 should be 55%. Next, number 18 says, what is the mean? Mean, we add up all of our values and divide by how many we have. So to start, we'll add up 1 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 11 plus 12 plus 12 plus 14. When you do this, it should give you 101. And then you'll take your 101 and divide by how many data points we have. And remember, in the beginning, the first thing we did was add up how many dots we have. So we have 11 data points. 101 divided by 11 should get you 9.18 repeating. So what is the mean? 9.18. Remember that little line above the 1/8 if you can get it there, meaning it's repeating. Number 19, what is the outlier? Remember, an outlier lies outside your data. It stands all alone by itself, and in this case, our outlier is going to be the number 1. All right, next one, what is the median? So what is our middle number? Remember, we cross out a small, cross out a big. So cross out 1, cross out 14, cross out 6, and one of the 12s, 7, another 12, 8, 11, 9, 11, and look at that, we're left with 10 as our median. Last question, what is the gap, or name the gap? We actually have 2 gaps here from 2 to 5 and at 13. Remember, a gap has to have data on both sides, which means 0 is not a gap in your data. So 2 through 5 and 13 should be your final answer.